Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today I'm sharing a double page layout along with an unboxing of the brand new kit Zesty for Colorbrush Studios. She has it available up on the website as of right now, and it's mainly made up of the Simple Stories Vintage Linen Market collection, and this is a brand new collection and it's very Americana. I love the colors of it, the red, white, and blue, and a little bit of yellow splashed in there. It's perfect for summer photos. So I have a few sheets here. These ones here, these first two are singles. There's just one sheet in the kit of those ones. And then I believe the rest, there's two. So this one here with the yellow flowers and the red, they're not polka dots. Or maybe those ones are polka dots. I don't know what I'm talking about. And this is the lemon paper and then the cut aparts, and you get two of those, which I'm happy about. I love to use the cut aparts. And then this one here, which is like a periwinkle blue with the flowers, and then checkered on the other side. And then that one there, which is another pretty blue with the flowers. And actually, the pretty blue ones with the flowers is the ones I use for the very first layout that I'm going to do. These here are the frazzles and ribbons, which I love the denim stars. And then the red pom-poms are also my favorite. And we get the full pack of the foam title pieces from the Simple Stories collection. And then an ephemera pack with quite a few pieces in it to use on the layouts. And then here I am opening up, oh, these are little like ribbon tabs. I plan on stapling those on the layout when I use them. I didn't use them on the first layout. They're going to be used later in the month. This here is a July acrylic piece, which I love, and it comes with some extra stars. The clouds were a gift for Mother's Day. She allowed us to pick an item and sent it to us, so that was very nice of her. And there was also some puffy hearts that are fabric, and on the opposite side they're solid. So here's the photos that I plan on using. These ones here, the first ones I'm showing are of my nieces and nephews playing in my mom's front yard. And my son is also in that photo. And those are the ones I'm going to use for the first double page layout. And then I show some photos of my younger son that the colors match the layout. And also the couple of them are from the 4th of July. These ones here are of my sisters and my mom and dad and my grandma having a picnic. And my sister's outfits match the collection also. These ones here are from a family reunion, and my sister's outfits again match the collection perfectly. So I plan on doing quite a few layouts. We'll see how many I get done this month. Let's get started. This is the double page layout. So I'm already started with matting my photos on white cardstock. And I took the three that are very similar and stacked them on top of each other. I do plan on putting them straight down the center. They're not evenly in the center placed. I placed them so that I was able to cut the photos without cutting anybody's face. I never want to cut anybody's face, but I don't mind cutting the photos in half. So I'm going to cut the photo or the photo strip directly in half. So I'm just going to attach it on one side and then I will cut it. And I already measured everything out, made sure I would lay it in the correct place. And then I will double check it here in a moment and I'll show you how I do that. And I've done this before where I've laid photos down in the middle and I always want to double check and make sure that I'm cutting it correctly before I cut it. Because otherwise it means I'm going to have to reprint photos if I cut them incorrectly. So these ones here, I have them attached down to the right-hand side, and I'm using the left-hand side paper to lay over the top and make sure that I'm not covering anybody's face. So I want to make sure I can see everybody's face, and I can. So then I'm going to check the other side, and I'll lay the photo or the paper across the top of the photos, and then I'll pull it across the mat and lay it across how it's going to lay out. And just verifying that, again, I'm not cutting off anybody's arms. Well, I am cutting off their arms, actually. I'm not cutting off their faces. Um, and this mat that I'm working on is one of the rubber mats, and it's actually a perfect 8.5 by 11 double page mat. So that's by American Crafts. And here I am. I'm going to say a little prayer and go ahead and just slice through the photos. I always get nervous when I do this because if it doesn't cut correctly, there's really no way to correct it except for to reprint the pictures. So that's why I always double check and make sure that I'm, have it in the right place before I slice it. And it's sliced perfectly. So I'm going to lay it down and then I'm going to place the other photos on the other side. And as you can see, I already have the background papers cut down to 8.5 by 11. And I used the same paper, but I used two of them so that I could cut them down to the 8.5 by 11 size. So if you were doing 12 by 12, you wouldn't have to do that part. And you probably wouldn't have to cut your photos in half either if you're doing 12 by 12. But I just don't like the larger size albums. I find them very hard to store, and I've done 8.5 by 11 for about 25 years, so I'm not going to change. Um, I'm going to use hexagons. We were given a sketch or a layout example. I'll throw that up here in the top right hand corner so that you can see it. And I chose to use hexagons instead of diamonds. I was playing with diamonds, but I wasn't able to make them look correctly. I just couldn't cut a diamond so that it looked right. So I think I'm going to play with my silhouette later in the month, and I'll probably create a layout like the diamond layout because I really like it, but I just wasn't able to, I didn't have time to do that for this layout. And I really like the hexagons. I think the hexagons are really cute with this collection. So that's another option. And also in the example, they show a hexagon down at the bottom. I believe it's like a stencil she's using it as. But I decided to go ahead and use hexagons. I did cut two of the photos into hexagons, and then all the pattern papers are cut into hexagons. And the blue one that you're seeing right now on the right hand side is a larger hexagon because the photo is going to go in the middle. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to have a red hexagon that's larger, and the photo is going to go in the middle of that one. So there's the photo on this side, and then I will get started on the other side. And again, I already have placements of where it's going to go. I just didn't have the papers completely trimmed off as of yet. So I went ahead and finished that up, and you saw I'm inking up the edges as usual of all of the pieces. And again, I do that to separate the pattern papers since I like to use a lot of pattern papers. So if you ink up the edges, it kind of gives you a definition line, and then it separates the papers a little bit better. So here I'm inking up the edge, and then I'm gonna lay that one there. And actually, I inked up the wrong one. I cut it in half, and I needed the other side, not that side. So there you go. Place that one down, and then I am going to add one more piece. Oh, I'm going to add my photo, and then I'm going to add one more hexagon up at the top in between the blue one and the photo right there. And that's going to complete it for the hexagons anyways. And then pretty much it's done. Since there's so much pattern, so much going on, I'm going to add the title and a couple of more butterflies, and pretty much it's going to be done. I do a little bit of stitching off camera. I show you where the stitching is going to go, but I don't do it on camera. And that's just because it takes a minute, and most of the time it's not in the camera as I'm doing it because I pull it a little bit closer to me so that I can see where I'm stitching it. And it's a pretty fairly simple stitch. I just poked little holes and just did little dash marks for the butterflies. So the title is going to be Sunny Days at Grandma's House. At Grandma's House is going to be these little pink fresh studio stickers that I had in my stash, and they match perfectly. I'm going to use little a couple of yellow ones for at, and then grandma's going to be in a pinkish red color, and then house will be in yellow. And I'm not sure I leave all this in. I believe I speed it up, or I will speed it up here in just a moment. Just laying down the letters because it's kind of, redundant. And they're kind of small. You can't even really see them, or at least I can't see them on screen. I'm sure you can see them on a computer or even on a phone if the layout's turned the other way. On the screen I'm looking at, the layout's not turned sideways. It's very small, so I can't see it. I'm just going to fiddle with it here for a moment, and then after I get done, I do go back with liquid glue and attach those down, and they are directly on the photo. And it's okay, they're just an empty space of the photo. They're not covering anybody up or anything. Sorry about the little glare of the light. You kind of can't see the photo of where they're going at, but in the close-ups you can see them, and like I said, they're not covering anybody up. They're just covering up the bottom of the layout where they're, or the photo where they're sitting on the teeter-totter. And this was, my one niece is missing from the photo. She probably wasn't there that day, or she already went home. My mom babysat the kids for us as we worked. So, of course, come pick up the kids after work or come home after work. In my case, I lived with my mom at this time with my son. So I was probably just home from work, and my sister was coming to pick up her kids. And the little baby she's holding in the photo, and actually today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Tammy. And the little baby will be 24 years old this year. So these photos are quite old, and they're one of just a few layouts that I have left in my son's 2-year old album, and then he will be done finally. He's 26, so it took me a while to get all of his layouts done, but they are almost done. So here I added another little puffy or a foam sticker on the photo of him standing in front of the flowers, which I thought matched the flowers in the collection perfectly. And it says the little things. And then I added a little ladybug, and I added a piece of the ribbon, the striped red and white ribbon. That was a mouthful. And then at the top by the butterfly, I'm going to add memories, which was another little foam sticker from the foam sheet. And I also added the red and white ribbon up there and a butterfly. And I was going to use the paper butterflies. I decided to go ahead and use the foam butterflies instead. No reason. I just changed my mind and did those instead of the paper ones. I think they kind of stand out a little bit more since they're glossy versus flat like the paper. And here I did poke a couple of holes, and I put the ribbon through, and I'm just going to tie a bow. And that's just a simple little bow there. And I just like it right there underneath the title for the sunny days. And that adds a little bit of ribbon in a third spot. And then I will add a couple of hearts, a yellow heart with the red butterfly, and then a red heart down by the yellow butterfly, the little butterfly, right there. And then I'll add a blue one on the other side just above Sunny. And I think that's it. I'm trying to remember what else I do. Oh, I will show you where I'm going to do the dash marks for the stitching. I do it in pencil or Sharpie first, and then I'll go back and poke the holes and stitch it with black embroidery thread is what I used. And I used 3 strands instead of all 6. And that just makes it a little bit easier to pull through the paper. It just depends on how thick you want the lines to be. I usually use 3 as my go-to for embroidery floss if I'm using it. I don't stitch a whole lot on my layouts. To me, it's too time consuming. And it's not something I can do where a lot of people are like they can watch TV or not look at it while they do it. I can't do that, so I just choose not to do it very often. But this one, I thought it looked cute because there is stitching, like faux stitching, in some of the papers in the embellishments. There you go, it's done. And I already did the stitching. I'll hold it up and show you a little bit of close-ups. Not very good at these close-ups. I need to get better at holding them in the camera. But you can see the stitching there. And then on the back, I placed washi tape just to hold it in place and a little bit of liquid glue. So it should stay and it'll slide easily into the page protector to keep it in place. So there's a few close-ups, and I will have another layout using the same kit, Zesty, for June on the 15th. I traded days with Christine Harden here on YouTube. So I'll see you then. Bye.